Okay, so it's time for me to make more yogurt, and I've had a few people ask me how to make it. So I figured I would just go ahead and video log it down and show you guys what I do. So let me turn this camera around. So with this recipe, I'm gonna show you how to make yogurt without a yogurt maker and without an Instapot. So I've been experimenting to try to figure out how to do this because I don't have a yogurt maker and I don't have an Instapot and I don't want to buy either one of those things. I'm frugal. Maybe you guys are frugal. I don't know. So I'm going to show you how to do it, and I'm going to explain how to do it either with a cooler, a small cooler, or with a crock pot. So either way, if you have a cooler or a crock pot, you can make this. Okay, so first you're gonna need organic milk. You need whole milk, and you're gonna pour half a gallon into a pot, and you're going to put it on medium heat. You don't want it to scald, so that's the biggest thing. You don't want this to burn, and you're just gonna keep on stirring. So like once you turn it on, you're just gonna keep stirring. You can like walk away for like a minute or two, but then you're just gonna come back and stir it. And you're gonna need a thermometer. Let me get my thermometer. Okay. And you want this to heat up. So we're going to not boil, not a hard boil the milk, but like pretty much just a little bit boil it. We're gonna bring it up to 170 degrees, but you don't want it to boil. You just want it to slowly rise up. You don't want to scald it or burn it, and you're gonna keep stirring it. Just keep going by and stirring it. You don't have to stay there nonstop, but you just want to make sure that the milk is evenly being heated across it. I hope that makes sense. So we're going to bring it up to about 170 degrees. Okay, so now that we're back, my milk has gotten up to 175, 180. I turn it off and move it off of the heat. And we're going to let it cool down until it gets to 110 degrees. You want to keep checking back, keep stirring it so that nothing scalds on the bottom and that it cools evenly. And while you are, while it's cooling down, what you're gonna go ahead and do is get your culture out. Now, once you start making this all the time, then you'll have your own culture. So what that means is every time I make yogurt, I save back a cup of yogurt. So when you first start out, you don't have a cup of yogurt that you already made. So what I did was get one of these organic whole milk plain yogurt. No sugars, no sweeteners, no nothing in it, okay? Just plain. Eat it, do what you want to do, and clear this out and then mark it, do not eat. And so then every time I make my yogurt, I put a cup of my yogurt in here. And that is my culture for the next batch. So what I do is when what I boiled on the stove is cooling down, I go ahead and let this sit out so that it can get to room temperature. So I'm just setting it up here, and I'm gonna let it get to room temperature and put away my milk, and my yogurt is cooling there. Just keep checking it, keep stirring it, and bring it down to 110. Don't let it go past that. Okay, so my yogurt is now at about 125. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to turn my hot water on, and the hot water that comes out of this tap is about 100 and 118 degrees, and we want it to be at not more than 115 degrees. So that's the reason why I can't use the oven, or I can't use the crock pot on low, any of that kind of stuff, because it will be too hot. You have to keep the yogurt at like 110, 115 for about 12 hours. So if you have a cooler, you can get that out now. If you have a crock pot, you can get that out now. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna put about 115 degree water into the cooler or the crock pot. If you put it in the crock pot, don't turn it on. And you're only gonna fill it up like halfway, because you're gonna put the jars in there, and I'll show you what I mean. This water is about 100, sometimes in between 115, 118. So since my yogurt is now at 125, I'm gonna go ahead and fill this up. That way it can cool down a little bit, and I'm not gonna kill the culture. Because if you have the yogurt too hot for the 12 hours, it will kill your culture and you will not make yogurt. The culture is live bacteria. That's what yogurt is. It's a live bacteria. So you don't want to kill it. So you want to make sure that you get the water that you put into the crock pot or into your cooler at 115 degrees. So whenever your yogurt gets to like 120 something, then go ahead and get that going. And this is one of those small coolers. See, it fits right into the sink. It's not very big. It's like a lunchbox cooler kind of thing. So I filled this up about halfway, and then turn it off. And let me see what the temperature is in here. Okay, so that's about just right. So that's ready at 110. So I'm gonna close it and just wait for my yogurt to cool off now. Okay, so my yogurt is down to 111 degrees. Baylin. So now I'm gonna add the culture into it and stir it around. Okay, and then after this batch is made, tomorrow morning, what I do is I let it sit overnight. So, you know, I make it in the evening and let it cook all night in the cooler. And then in the morning, when it's ready, I take one of the jars and I put it back in this. Do not eat, that way the whole family knows, don't eat this. You can eat all the yogurt in the fridge, but not this one, because this is the starter for the next batch. So now I'm gonna take this over here where I have my cooler and my jars. Just wanna make sure that starter is really mixed in there. The cultures in that starter is what's gonna make this work. So, I'm gonna open this up. And my jars are clean, my lids are clean, everything's clean. That's really important because you're growing bacteria. So you wanna make sure that everything that you use is clean. So there's my jar of yogurt. These are great for single servings. And I'm just gonna put it in that warm water. And don't be shy just to use whatever jars you have. So I have all those little ones and I have this one big one, and I'm just gonna make it work. I need to get a couple of more small jars. It is what it is. Use what you have. Okay, so now that lid is on. All of this is in that warm water. And I'm just gonna double check it here. I'm gonna check the temperature of this water. As long as we're above 100 and below 115, we're good. So this is gonna be about 107. So we are in the perfect zone. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get 2 towels. I'm gonna wrap this up in towels and I'm gonna put it somewhere safe. I put it right on the floor over there. That's where I keep mine. You can figure out where to keep yours. Let me go get those towels, and I wanna insulate on the top and the bottom. So I go ahead and lay my first towel down. I'm gonna carefully take this over here. If you have your crock pot, if you decided to do it in the crock pot, you're gonna do the same thing. You're not turning the crock pot on, you're just using it to insulate it. So you fill it halfway up with water, put your jars in, wrap it up in a towel just like I'm doing the cooler. Then I'm gonna put this one on all sides. And I'm just gonna leave it here for 12 to 15 hours. The longer that you leave it, the more thick your yogurt will be. If you like really thick, tangy yogurt, like Greek yogurt, you would leave it more like 15 hours. If you like regular yogurt, you would leave it closer to the 12 mark. So just taste it and see how you like it. Okay, so I hope that this helped explain it to you. Don't be afraid to start making your own yogurt. It's really great because, I mean, you save a lot of money. You're having to buy the organic milk, but that gallon of milk will make a whole gallon of yogurt with just 1 cup of starter. Okay, it's the next morning. So I'm gonna check it and take out my culture for my starter that needs to go into the refrigerator. It's kind of hard to do one-handed. And so here it is, and you can see, pretty stiff. So that works out great. So now I just take one of these jars and I put it into my little container here. That way tomorrow when I make yogurt, I can just use what's in here to do it all over again.